Okay, welcome to the Grandy and Andy post-game show, otherwise known as the Palin File.
Yeah.
I don't know how long we're going to talk about Sarah Palin, but
Long time, I guess.
the good news is, as long as she continues to dominate the agenda, John McCain gets a lot of play, and Barack Obama has to answer questions. The bad news is if something really goes wrong, and I mean something more than a 17-year-old daughter having to have a child, the more risky and suspect she becomes. And what you don't want, America, is Tom Eagleton 2.0. Tom Eagleton, of course, being George McGovern's pick.
Oh, of course.
Until he wasn't, Brian Neiman, because he did a terrible thing, got depressed as a young person, and had, as we all did back then, electroshock, right?
Because the leeches didn't work?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And some of those incantations that always worked for me when I was depressed, when I was a kid, did not work for Tom. So he was out of the sketch.
That was even raised that it was going to be an issue that she had a 17-year-old who was pregnant. Were Republicans nervous at the base? Might say, no, how could this happen?
I mean, come on, let's face it. Republicans tend to wrap themselves in a cloak of moral rectitude, and when something goes wrong, it can be a lot more damaging. Now, did something go wrong here? Well, in I suppose the most pure world, yes, because this girl's not supposed to get pregnant until she's married. But she did.
Kids have sex?
Yeah, but
even Republican kids have sex?
Even Republican. Now,
I cannot believe
this
in
is
Alaska they do too?
This is a breakthrough. Well, even more so in Alaska.
What is wrong with the society today? That young people want to have sex.
That's right. This does make her kind of authentic, right? I mean, we heard this morning on the show. A lot of people say, hey, parents have to deal with this. This is a woman who is a parent and a mom and now the governor. And I'm just wondering if there isn't some truth to some of those right-wingers who are saying, oh boy, a baby out of wedlock, how good can it get?
Why is that? I don't get that. Why are they so excited about that?
I don't know. But just think of this. Supposing she's got an illegal gun stash somewhere, then the NRA is really going to be on board. I mean, what other bad things can she do to get the right wing?
Well, look at this. Vice President Cheney has a gay daughter.
Yes.
Okay.
But we didn't know that.
We didn't know that. Would that have been a problem?
Wait a minute, did we know that?
I don't think we did know that. I don't think she came out of the closet until really a couple of years ago.
That's right, because it was an issue in 2004, remember?
Right.
Because John Edwards, remember him? John Edwards?
So the current vice president has a gay daughter, and then the wannabe vice president has a 17-year-old daughter who is pregnant and not married.
And not gay, as far as we know.
And not gay. Well, I would imagine she's not gay.
That would have been a deal breaker. If she'd gotten pregnant by another woman, that would have probably...
Is that possible?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Again, we are talking about
the conservative, the family value party is what the Republicans are.
Yes, and I think this pretty much typifies family values. You have a child out of wedlock. What do? You either abort the child, as some people would advocate,
right,
or you have the child and don't get married, as many people would advocate, or you follow through, have the child, get married, and raise it in a loving household run by your parents. Right?
Yeah, with some staff.
With vice presidential staff and linens on the table, right? Once you've made your choice, that's supposed to be the surprise. You're not supposed to add a surprise onto the surprise, okay? What I don't want to hear now is that Sarah Palin was married before, or that she really is from Mexico, or that her husband is a terrorist or anything like that. I don't want to hear any of that. And I don't think John McCain does either. But as far as it goes, if this is all they can get on her, I still think she's a very strong pick.
Bye-bye.
Yay!